Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Ben Coy. This is the Central Ohio Brass Band, and we are pleased to be here. We are pleased that you are here in apparently what is becoming a snowstorm. Hey, it is what it is. That was the Torch of Freedom by Eric Ball. I happen to love it as a march because it's not all cornets all the time. We get to hear some of the other sections of the band, which I think is really one of the great things about a brass band is kind of the equality of all the parts, that all the members of the band get to play something fun. As long as I'm talking about equality of parts and everybody getting to do something fun, I think it's nice to share the podium once in a while. So I'm not going to conduct the next one. That'll be our assistant music director, Chip Gue. I promise I'll figure out this microphone at some point. In the meantime, you have to listen to me talk. So Philip Spark wrote a piece called Hymn of the Highlands, where he explores, I think it's 7 different locations in Scotland that he wanted to write music about and portray musically. It's about 35 minutes long, and because of the worsening weather conditions, we're not going to play all of it. No, we just picked our favorite, and I said something before about the cornets, but I didn't mean it. We have great cornets, and I'm really proud of the people we have, especially Becky Bloomer, who has joined us as our E-flat soprano cornet player. And she will be featured in Flowerdale, which is, I think, the 3rd movement of the Hymn of the Highlands. It's a forest. It has a beautiful waterfall. It's a well-known scenic place, so, transport yourself to a warm, not snowing environment and watch the waterfall as portrayed by the soprano cornet. That is simply incredibly gorgeous music, and it only gets better when Becky plays it. One more for Becky, please. All right, so if you have braved the weather to be here tonight, you are a music aficionado, and I don't have to tell you what I'm about to say. However, it's in my script. I have to. It's a contractual requirement. We are about to play a fugue by Bach, Johann Sebastian. And the band will tell you I love Bach a lot. So a fugue, though, is a very special form of music. It's a construction, a floor plan, a blueprint for writing music that is not used so much anymore. It's really quite interesting. If you think about most music that is written today, there's a beautiful melody played on top. And the whole rest of the band, whether the melody's in the sop or in the euphonium, wherever it is, that melody is supported by everybody else. And you know, maybe the melody passes around and various people get it at various times, and maybe there are a couple of different kinds of accompaniments that go along with it, but there's always one central main thing that you're supposed to pay attention to. In a fugue, that's just not true. There's one main melody for sure, and everybody gets it, but we play it at different times. If you remember being a child and singing "Row, row, row your boat" in a round with your friends, it's something like that, where everybody's singing the melody, but at a different time. So this fugue has one main melody, and everybody plays it. But it's not as simple as "Row, row, row your boat" because it's Bach. No, seriously. Bach, as much as I love the guy, he was a little bit of a show-off, and he wanted to prove that he was better than everybody else at writing fugues. So this is not just a fugue, it is a double fugue. So he does one fugue on our main melody, and everybody plays it, and we think we're done, we're good. And then he starts off on another fugue with a different melody. And then about halfway through that fugue, our first melody comes back, and he combines the two fugues together simultaneously, which is really awesome. But it's Bach. He's not done. He does yet another fugue on another theme. This is now our third fugue, and halfway through that one, he brings in the original melody again. So this is a triple-double fugue by Johann Sebastian Bach. I hope you enjoy it. we've been working on that one for a while. It's highly complex music. But I think that the emotional musical payoff is worth it. There's just so much in there. It's great. Bach. All right, so I can stop preaching now. We have one more for you, and I was talking about the complexity of music and the amount of layers that go into music. And one of the things that I think is great about brass band music is this tradition we have of playing competitions. Every year, there are competitions all over the world, including the North American Brass Band Association competition, which we do every year, which BBC did for many, many years. And part of this competition tradition is that new music is written for the competition with the express purpose of being difficult. You can laugh, they're not laughing. Anyway, so again, it's just like the Bach in that there are lots and lots of layers, that everybody has a difficult part. There's lots of ink even in the tuba parts, and so it's a great way to test the band, whether or not we're playing a competition. Now, we'll read the last chapter of this story. We are playing the North American Brass Band Competition in April, and so we're starting to work on the test piece for this year, which in our case is called Legacy by Tom Davron. And I wanted to give you just a little background on this piece so you know what you're listening to, so that you can follow the story a little bit as we go. This piece is dedicated to the memory of Aneurin Bevan, who was born in a very poor Welsh coal mining town to a coal mining family. He dropped out of school at I think age 14, I think that's what Wikipedia said. Point is, he dropped out of school before he finished to go work in the mines because his family needed the money, and that was what you did in that town. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, he got involved in some of the workers' rights protests, and the coal mine stopped hiring him. So he went off to college. He was given a scholarship by some local funds, and he came back and he was unemployed for 3 years. He had no income for 3 years because of his political activism, until finally the union itself hired him. It was one of the only jobs in the town that was not directly supported by the mine, even if it was still part of that industry. And he worked his way up the political chain until he finally made it into Parliament, where he founded the national health system for all of Great Britain. It's a crazy story to go all the way from basically nothing to reinventing the way government works, but he did. And so this piece was written to commemorate what he did. It's a 3-part work. It begins with a slower, hopeful opening that expresses the desire for a society to do better. And then there is a beautiful, very intimate center section, which I think expresses the value of the citizens of a community and why it's valuable for the government, in Nye Bevan's perspective, to care for its citizens. And then there is a march of progress at the end. So, Legacy, Tom Davron. Thank you so much. Now we're going to have a little set change, and our friends from BBC will join us.
Good evening, and thanks for sticking around to hear our part of the program. In fact, thank you for being here in the first place. It's kind of crazy outside. You're kind of crazy, a good kind of crazy, but we appreciate you being here. We really do. We are the Brass Band of Columbus, led by our music director, Brian Stevens, and in a little while you'll meet our assistant director, Tony Zelinchik. We led off with a classic British brass band march called ORB, acronym short for the former Oldham Rifle Brigade, the band for which was founded back in 1865, disbanded in 1934. Composer Charles Anderson was one of the band's directors, and is a perfect example of a British contest march. Also, easily the simplest piece we're playing tonight. I'm not sure what we did, Brian, but we're sorry. Brian programmed a bunch of really difficult music for us tonight, so we're going to do our best on it. We're going to go right to a championship-level contest piece by the great Edward Gregson. This was commissioned for the 2008 British Brass Band Championships. It's called Rococo Variations. We're not going to play the entire thing because that's about 16 minutes. This is about 8 or 9 minutes or so. We're going to play the introduction, the theme, and then 3 of the variations, finishing up with the Fugal Scherzo. Now, Dr. Paul Drosty, founder of the band, director emeritus, could not be with us this evening, but I wanted to give him a little shout out in case he's streaming. And thanks to the church for streaming this. If you're watching and listening, streaming, we really appreciate you being with us virtually. If you don't know, he's a big fan of Spike Jones. And one of the things that Spike did for a particularly difficult piece that his City Slickers were premiering for the first time was wish the audience good luck. So this is our first time playing this. Good luck. Here is Rococo Variations. Okay, I think I need a shower. I am going to talk for a little bit. We do need a little bit of break in all seriousness. And again, we didn't even play the whole piece. That's how demanding that is. And the middle parts are just as fascinating. And we are actually going to go to another contest piece right now. Before we do, in case anyone who is here for the first time for a brass band concert, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands or anything, but if anyone here or streaming is seeing or hearing a brass band for the very first time, I'm going to tell you what this is. This is actually something that was very popular in the United States back in the early part of the 1800s up through the middle and late 1800s. And then we got kind of enamored with wind band. Concert bands, flutes and clarinets and stuff like that, which are marvelous, but they're not part of a British-style brass band. That has continued overseas, and it has a very specific and unique instrumentation, definitely making a comeback in the United States. In fact, North American Brass Band Association Championships are coming up in about 7-8 weeks or so over in Fort Wayne. Almost 50 brass bands this year from all parts of the country. So it's definitely coming back, and we've been kind of at the forefront of that. We've been around for over 40 years now. Instrumentation-wise, with the smallest instruments over here are E-flat cornets. Smallest instrument, biggest, boldest people, because they're constantly exposed, and you really have to be bold to play this. Regular B-flat cornets, no trumpets. Flugelhorn, which is kind of an important bridge between cornet and tenor horn. That's what I tell myself anyway. Tenor horns, we don't have French horns. Tenor horns, E-flat pitched. We have both baritones and euphoniums. In this country, we often kind of say them as the same thing. They're two distinctly different instruments. British baritones are a little bit smaller. Euphoniums are what you're used to seeing and hearing. A little bit different sound as well. We have trombones, and we have bass trombone. We have two of them. That's kind of an embarrassment of riches to have two bass trombones. We have tubas, both E-flat and B-flat. I don't know if you want to hold them up. You don't have to, because those things are heavy. And we have a full percussion section. And percussion needs a little, needs a little bit more recognition. These are the first people here. They are the last to go. We have a marvelous percussion section, and they don't get all the recognition and love that they deserve. So please, give them some love right now. Thank you. All right, on to our next piece. There is a marvelous article about brass band that I meant to mention. He actually wrote this, Philip Harper, who also composed our next piece. If you want to Google History of Brass Band Philip Harper, this piece should come up. He wrote it about 2 years ago. It's a real quick explanation of why they were so popular in the UK and everything. He is also the director of the Corey Band in Wales, one of the very best in the world, easily top 5 year in, year out. And he is a marvelous composer. This is a contest piece that he wrote. I don't know if he intended to be a contest piece, but is this year's third section piece at North American Brass Band Association Championships. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Nothing to do with the original movie, based on the work by Jules Verne, and it's very programmatic. Sections of it having to do with choral and finding Captain Nemo. Not Finding Nemo, but Captain Nemo. So anyway, leading us in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, please welcome to the podium Assistant Director Tony Zelenchik. Tony Zelinchik. Right. Took me forever to turn the mic on. It's operator error. We have one more, again, pretty difficult piece to finish with here. It's a very different type of selection, though. Last year, we paid tribute to jazz great Chuck Mangione, who passed away last July. In December, we lost another giant who was a great influence in both big band and education. Composer Gordon Goodwin, pianist, saxophonist, composer, arranger, conductor. His band earned 3 Daytime Emmys, 4 Grammys, and 25 Grammy nominations to boot for his compositions and arrangements. This is quite a piece. Count Bubba. I'm not sure who Count Bubba was, but he later had another piece that Goodwin wrote called Count Bubba's Revenge. We're just doing the original, but it features everyone in the band, and especially Mr. Dan Hostetler back there. You're going to hear him solo in the middle of this. Our own Brian Stevens did this arrangement several years ago, and we revive it now to pay tribute to its composer, Gordon Goodwin. We conclude our portion of this evening's program with Count Bubba. Dan Hostetler, and the rest of us. We do have two more combined pieces coming up. Cobb is going to join us on the stage, so it's going to be a Wonder Twin Powers Activate moment, so don't go anywhere. All right, I think we're ready to go here. Thanks for sticking around. This is always a fun part. I don't know how many of you know this, but we used to have a concert together every year for years and years and years and years downtown, and it got scratched, and there were a few years when we didn't do this, and now we're thrilled to be here to be able to do this concert and be with our friends from Cobb again. So it's wonderful that you are hosting this event for us. We're going to start off the combined with Americans We, led by not Brian Stevens. It's a little bit off in the program, so Ben's going to conduct here, and this is a marvelous march by Henry Fillmore that was almost named for a supermarket chain, but it's not. Americans We. Once again, thank you for being here this evening, and hopefully the roads won't impede you from getting home promptly. Do be careful out there. We're going to finish with something that sounds pretty familiar. James Swearingen, longtime Central Ohio band director, composer, arranger. He took Ohio State's alma mater and he turned it into this lovely arrangement called How Firm Thy Friendship. Originally a concert band arrangement, this was arranged for brass band by Marty Jenkins, former percussion with Brass Band of Columbus. He's with, I believe, Miami Valley right now, and working out in Dayton as, I believe, the music librarian for Wright State. No one cares about any of that. He was also my roommate. More needless trivia. We finished this evening with How Firm Thy Friendship, and hopefully you're friends with us like we're friends with Cobb. Thank you very much. We don't have anything else. Please drive safely.